Blackman.
Hi, everyone, and good evening. Welcome to the Matt Painter Radio Show. Here we go. Time to talk some Boilermaker basketball on this Tuesday night. As always, we are live from Wolfies Grill, located on the Wabash Landing in West Lafayette. A huge thank you to Wolfies Grill, who has been our home for the Matt Painter Radio Show all season long. I am your host, Rob Blackman, and thank you very much for joining us. We'll be here for the next 55 minutes or so talking Boilermaker basketball. A couple of things you need to know. Number one, if you would like to be a part of the program tonight, you can easily do so by calling us at 1-888-246-2678, 1-888-246-2678. A number of you watching, I know, tonight, maybe on Twitter Live or on YouTube or also on Facebook Live as well. Thank you for going through the trouble of doing that, and we do appreciate you being part of our Tuesday evening program. I've emphasized the word Tuesday now a couple of times because this is our final Tuesday show of the year. I know January put us in a little bit of a scheduling funk because either Purdue men or women's basketball were playing or traveling on Mondays. But beginning next week, folks, next week we'll be back to our regular Monday night schedule. So please make a note of that. Beginning next week, back here at Wolfies for Monday nights in the Coach Matt Painter Radio Show. But that starts next week with a Monday evening program here back at Wolfies. Okay, a lot of stuff to talk about with Coach Painter, including we've had 2 games played since we last talked with a coach. That includes the 3-point loss in Bloomington on Thursday, 68-65 to Indiana. And it also includes the 20-point victory on Sunday against Northwestern, 80-60, where the Boilermakers got back to the winning ways by beating the Wildcats. So we'll talk to Coach Painter about both of those games. Also, we'll look ahead to what's going to be another busy week and another difficult week, as well it should be in the Big Ten. Thursday night, Purdue is on the road for a late game, a 9 o'clock Eastern tip-off, 9 Eastern, when Purdue is in Iowa City to play the Iowa Hawkeyes. And then Sunday afternoon, right back at Mackey Arena for a 12 noon tip, a CBS game, nonetheless, Purdue and Ohio State Sunday at noon. So, as you might imagine, here we are late January, and there's a lot to talk about in the world of Purdue basketball. So we'll talk with Coach Painter about those things when we come back. Again, the phone number, if you'd like to join us, 1-888-246-2678. The Coach Painter Show, as always, is presented by GEMCO. This is Boilermaker basketball from Learfield.
For 135 years, First Farmers.
He had it knocked free. Good job by Gillis to save the possession and find Sasha Stefanovic.
Also, though, a nice 2 games. You look at his last 2, he can really score it. They will play through him in their second unit.
Here he is trying to defend Edey, but Purdue just goes over the top, and Edey's too big. Hard thing for the defense is they have to prepare for all that as Stefanovic takes a deep 3 and hits his second already. Here he is. Well, that'll help. Bucket and a foul. Travion Williams. Roper will take a 3. And Williams with a strong 2-handed rebound.
Good defense by Sasha Stefanovic off the ball. He saw the post trap. Now they're running. Ethan Morton been hanging on rims.
Edey, good position. Right to the 2-hand jam. 2 of 11 from outside the arc. Stefanovic, he's already hit 3, make it 4. Against Wisconsin, season high 27 minutes for Roper. Gave him the start here tonight. In the corner, 3-pointer Isaiah Thompson.
You could be starting the break for the other team. Northwestern capitalizing.
You go back to the Bowie 3 at the end of the first half. It's a 15-5 run right now. But all of a sudden, Thompson is in rhythm.
Now Travion Williams another turnover. Northwestern off to the races.
Ooh, dangerous pass by Berry. Gives it right back. The other direction. Thompson's already hit 2. Missed there. Offensive rebound and a putback for Mason Gillis. Purdue back up double figures. Williams with 9. And now a steal. Eric Hunter slams it home. He hasn't put up many, hasn't made many. Here's Hunter. His step back from the top of the arc goes down, and Purdue has their largest lead.
They are in the danger zone here, certainly. That's an understatement, down 16. No reason to hold back at this point. Might as well put him in the game and see if he can make something happen. But again, at the 5.
15-point deficit right now as we approach.
with the largest view of the game outside of Mackey Arena. Wolfies Grill, they've been our host of the Matt Painter radio show all season long, and we're right here on the Wabash Landing in West Lafayette. Again, a reminder, fans, I'll try to tell you this a couple more times throughout the evening, but we're back to our Monday night schedule, our regular Mondays, starting next Monday back here at Wolfies Grill. I'm Rob Blackman, the head coach of the Boilermakers. Matt Painter is alongside, and we do have a lot to talk about tonight, so let's get right to it, Coach. Welcome, and well, what a week it was. Quite frankly, what a stretch of games, quite frankly, it's been for your ball club. Starting with the game at Illinois. I know we've already discussed this on the coaches show, but a full house against a team ranked in the top 20. And then you come right back Thursday night in front of a full house at Indiana against your rival. Then you're right back at it Sunday against Northwestern. I guess I shouldn't be surprised that this is life in the Big Ten.
Yeah, it's when you have that many games like bunched up, you think you're going to get a break then, and you don't. You just move to the next kind of bunch of games. And you know, Coach Katie would always try to split things. Like you have an 18-game season. He'd talk about 3 6-game seasons just to try to kind of break things up so you don't look at things like, gee, man, you just keep playing games, you keep doing it. But as the season goes on, like you would rather, as a player, you'd rather practice less and play more.
Right.
And so, like, not everybody on your team is playing 30 minutes a game either. So it's like it's not as much as you think, but it's a lot for the people that do play all the time. But I thought our guys hung in there in the Illinois game. I thought we should have closed it out in regulation. I thought we should have closed it out in the first overtime. But to be able to hang in there and win that, and then obviously having a tough loss at Indiana, then responding against Northwestern and winning convincingly without Jaden Ivey, I think it was a great sign for our team. I thought we did some really good things defensively, even though they ended up making some tough shots, especially in that second half. But our guys hung in there. And it was a tough week, but we actually got a day off yesterday. Had practice today and practice tomorrow, then play Iowa on Thursday. And so I think when you're just trying to look for things, you know, guys need a little bit of a break, but you got to be ready to, you know, go back and compete. They're all going to be tough. It's going to be an unbelievable venue in Iowa City on Thursday.
You know, my concern just as a fan, as a broadcaster who sees it from obviously afar, you would come off an emotional loss on the road at Indiana. You had to bus all the way home, and then you're turning around and playing right away again at 1 o'clock on Sunday. I wondered if there might be some emotional letdown, if you would, from your ball club, but I thought your team looked sharp, and they were ready to go from the tip-off on Sunday.
Yeah, and it's difficult. Like, you go through such an emotional game, and, you know, you're on a Monday, and then you're getting ready to play. Then Thursday, another emotional game. Then, like, you don't have any time, and then, like, now, you know, you don't have one of your better players on Sunday, and so you still got to practice those days, though. And I think that's the one thing. I talked to a lot of guys in the Pac-12 when we play like a Thursday, Saturday, and you only have a one-day break.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you play those games, and so like other day, like when you played, you know, a 1 o'clock game or a noon game, and then you have some time. It's a little bit different than playing a noon game on Monday than playing a night game Thursday. Like, your windows are just kind of getting smaller. So you got to take things in about how much, you know, time they're getting off, but then you still got to do something. Just giving them off that next day and then only practicing one day, you got to kind of get it out of them a little bit, you know, shoot 45 minutes, have a practice, and then just kind of move to the next day. But during that time right there, you got to make sure that they're mentally sharp. You know, physically there's, you know, some strains, but it's kind of the same way for everybody. And so who can have that mental toughness and kind of fight through those things can be a real advantage.
I'd like to know from a coaching standpoint, as you prepared for that game Sunday against Northwestern, Jaden Ivey did not practice the two practices, I should say, leading up to that game. As a coach, as you're preparing, are you thinking in the back of your mind, we might have Jaden, we might not? How do I prep for this thing? How do you go about that?
I don't worry about it. I just, if I think someone's not going to play, I just prepare like they're not going to play. It's just our offensive calls that changes.
Gotcha.
You know, sometimes it'll change a defensive matchup, and in this case, it doesn't really change much for us in that matchup. I started Brandon Newman just because he had played so well when he had started in the past, and so I wanted to get him going in that sense. Obviously, he didn't have a great game, but he's really struggled in his role. And so, like, playing, you know, 8 minutes or 12 minutes or 15 minutes hasn't been the same for him in his quality of play when he played 25 to 30 minutes last year in those games. It was the same thing for him the previous year at the end of the year when he didn't start. So that was one of the reasons I thought, like, hey, man, maybe if he starts this, we can kind of get him going here And obviously that didn't happen. But no, we don't do much different. Like obviously we run some things offensively for Jaden, and now we'll do more things for Sasha, or do more things for post-ups in our play calls.
Well, it certainly worked, because Sasha Stefanovic had 22 points in that game. And you talk about post-ups, the two bigs for Purdue, 12 points, 10 rebounds for both of them. 24 points, 20 rebounds between the two in Zach and Travion. More with Coach Painter in a moment. Matt Painter Show brought to you by GEMCO. If you'd like to visit with the coach, call us at 1-888-246-2678. This is Boilermaker basketball from Learfield.
Congrats on a hard-fought win. What did you think about the way you guys played?
Yeah, I thought we showed more toughness on the defensive end today. Obviously, there were stretches where they went on some runs, but overall, I think our effort was better. Obviously, we have our best player down with Jaden Ivey, and we had a lot of guys step up in some big moments. So it was a big win for us, and it's good for us moving forward.
Tough shooting night for you over at Bloomington and Thursday night. You go 1 of 7 tonight. What was your mindset coming back in? You end up making 6 threes.
Yeah, I just feel like I've been really inconsistent lately in my shot and just being aggressive and just my overall play. I think I just go through ups and downs in the season, and I don't know, it is what it is. Things, shots don't fall and everything, but I can control other parts of my game that I felt like I was lacking in, and when that happens, shots kind of fall. So I thought that was kind of my mindset coming in today, and luckily I was able to, make some shots.
You tie Piggy Lambert now with 371 wins. How cool is that for you being a Purdue guy, and what's it mean to you?
It's just cool being the coach at Purdue. More than anything, I'm very happy to be here, and they've treated me great, and we've had good players. We're going to have a lot of wins because we've had a lot of good players, including you.
I appreciate that. Coach, congrats.
See you.
See ya. Fans, GEMCO Constructors is supporting your Boilermakers as the presenting sponsor of the Matt Painter Radio Show, and they're a proud partner of Purdue Athletics. GEMCO Constructors says boiler up, and they are, of course, our sponsor of the Matt Painter Radio program. You can visit with the coach tonight if you'd like by calling us up at 1-888-246-2678, 1-888-246-2678. We're talking Purdue last couple of games, both Indiana and Northwestern, and looking ahead to the next two on the schedule, Iowa Thursday and then Sunday with Ohio State. John has called in the program. He's calling in from Delphi, so let's welcome him to the show. John from Delphi, welcome. You're on with the coach.
Yes, thank you. A 34-year member of the stat crew. Enjoy doing it. But my question is, the call where they blew the ball dead when Edey got the rebound there, did the referee give you an explanation that he might have blown that call, or give you any kind of explanation, or did he just act like that was the proper call?
He just acted like that was the proper call, but it obviously wasn't. So I don't know what he was thinking, in terms of he just simply said to me that you get one shot at it, you get one crack at it. So when somebody's down at the other end, I've always thought it was advantage, disadvantage. Even if like you don't get a shot, but you're not trying to really push the basketball, you blow it dead. If somebody's like underneath you and there's a safety issue where you could step on somebody, like you blow that dead. Like you understand that because but when someone's at the other end of the court and they're down by themselves and they've sprained their ankle, they're just down or like whatever, there's no safety issue. So as long as the offense is being aggressive and attacking the goal, like you can't blow it dead. So we shoot the shot, then we get the rebound, and now we're at the goal. So if you chase down like a long rebound at 30 feet, and now you're going the other direction, and it's a negative like thing, but you've got the ball, or the other team's got the basketball. Now you blow it dead at that time. So I didn't hear anything from the league office. They didn't call or say anything, but I'm pretty sure that's not the rule, what he said.
Well, to your point, Zach Edey was standing under the basket with the ball unabated, would have easily dunked it home when they blew it dead, as you well know because you were there. A little bit more on that game against Northwestern. You had, for the game, Coach, 9 total turnovers as a team. But 3 of those came in the first 90 seconds of the game.
Right.
You go from the 18.5-minute mark of the first half to the end of the game. You did a great job of taking care of the basketball.
Yeah, we have a good offensive team, and just keep giving yourself a chance. Keep getting good shots. Keep getting the ball to the rim. Keep getting the ball in the paint. We talk about the 2 things that we talk about to start every single game is, one is being patiently aggressive. Like, taking what the defense gives you, push the ball, be aggressive, get there. But if it's not there, see, people think just shooting quick means scoring more points. Being efficient is scoring more points. So if you push the basketball and you have an advantage, be aggressive. But if you push the ball and you don't, that's the term patiently aggressive, is now you got to have patience, move the basketball, and work a set defense. And that's what you want to do defensively. You want to constantly set your defense. So if you're making shots or you're getting fouled, or even if you're missing good shots, you have rebound balance, but you also have your safeties, you have your pickup guy, and now you set your defense. So you're working, anytime you're doing that, you're working offensively, you're still working defensively by the decisions you make on the offensive end, if that makes any sense. So you're playing smart basketball, but if it doesn't go your way, you're still setting your defense so they don't have an advantage at the other end. So when we do that, we're a really good team. We're a really good team. In the first half against Indiana, you have 10 turnovers. They live in transition. You're struggling offensively, but then you're just handing them points. They didn't score, that many points against us, except for the transition stuff. The transition points were really the difference, in my opinion, at that time. And but that's what happens. It's a tough lesson to learn, but don't turn the ball over. Like, we struggled to pass and catch. It's pretty simple. Like someone said, like what did you need to do better? Pass and catch the basketball better. And I know that's fundamental and it's a basic thing to say, but that was our issue. We had guys that were very experienced, that were loose with basketball, that couldn't pass and catch, couldn't handle the ball, couldn't read the defense, and now they're in transition, attacking, we're fouling, they're making layups, they're making transition threes, and that's a recipe for disaster.
And, of course, the second half of that Indiana game, you have 2 turnovers for the whole half, and sure enough, you climb right back into the game.
Right, because we have a good skill level. We have guys that can shoot the basketball. So if you don't turn it over, you have guys that can make them, but we also have a good offensive rebound percentage. We have one of the best in the country. So now you're going to make your shots that you miss, you got a chance to get those. But if you take good shots and you don't turn it over, even if you miss it and don't get the rebound, once again, you're setting your defense. And when you set your defense, it's going to be harder for people to score the ball against you. When you're in transition and they have primary breaks, they have 2-on-1s, 3-on-2s, 4-on-3s, 5-on-3s, the odds are against you. And you spend all this time as a coach working against those scenarios. But if the offense is simple and they move the ball when they're in those scenarios, you're normally going to foul them, or they're just going to miss or make an open shot.
It's the Matt Painter Radio Show tonight at Wolfies Grill on the Wabash Landing in West Lafayette. If you'd like to visit with the coach, the phone number is 1-888-246-2678. Back in 2 minutes. This is Boilermaker basketball from Learfield.
2 minutes.
Filius once again looking for that suicide turn. He gets a 2 count. There's 3 and 4. 3 and 4. And that was it. Parker Filius gets the 16-0 tech fall here. Como with a throw by, drops down to an ankle. Now he's got it up, treetops it, and there's 2. Might need to just give up a takedown. DJ Shannon getting himself into a jackpot here. Ninehouse trying to drive over. And there's the 2, and there's a count. Shannon turns right into a Ninehouse again. With back, there's a 2 count. Looking for the fall. Ninehouse chest to chest. And there it is. Nice ankle pick there by Panola. Next takedown will end it. There it is. 23-8. the sudden victory. Purdue, Oklahoma's Jake Woodley. And there's Panola, well done. And that should do it. Another throw by for good measure for Panola. And with the right time, it'll be an 8-3 decision for the Boilermaker. Thomas Panola's jacked up.
Matt Painter Radio Show presented by GEMCO. Live tonight at Wolfies Grill with the largest view of the game outside of Mackey Arena. Coach Painter joining us talking Boilermaker basketball. We'll be here next Monday. Make a note of that, fans. Monday. Back to the regular Monday schedule starting next week, 6 o'clock here at Wolfies Grill. Coach Painter, following the Indiana loss, one thing you talked about in the postgame with the media as well as on our broadcast was, and your team has struggled a little bit with this year. You get off to a good start, then you get away from what got you to that point.
Yes.
Did you feel like you did a better job of that Sunday against Northwestern?
No. We did it again.
Yeah.
And we get to 10, like I think it was 16-8 against Indiana.
Correct.
And then we have a couple shots. We have turnovers. Like they just, but we did it there. We broke a couple plays. We lead the country in breaking plays and not scoring. And we're the #1 efficient team in the country. Now, I said we lead the country. We actually don't. But when we break plays, so people can understand, like if you run something and you're supposed to do something, the defense takes something away from you. You know, you got to be able to react to that. But if they don't take it away, you still run it, right?
Okay.
We don't. Okay. But when we do that, like when you deal with some good to great players, they'll break plays and they'll score the ball. Each one more would do it. He'd break the play like, man, golly, just run the play. Then all of a sudden hits a three. Then he'd break another play. Then all of a sudden, like at the basket, bucket. You'd be like, all right, okay, just do whatever the hell you want. Like, you know what I mean? But I've said to them in the past 7-8 games, quit breaking plays that you don't have to. We did it twice the other night. We took a 30-footer off the dribble up. Sasha took just a bomb. But it's like a heat check. But the ones that he did take were good shots. Like, those are good shots.
Yeah.
But the one that he dribbled up just wasn't. And it's like, just do what, got you that lead. Like, you get to 12, 13, 14 points. We've all seen someone get a lead at 13, 14 points and someone come back and beat them. Like, we've all seen those games. I've lived it. And you've also been on the other end where you can – the other team's just letting you hang in there, and you just feel it every time out. Like, hey guys, we're just hanging around. We just got to stick with it, keep pushing, because they're letting us hang around. Mm-hmm. We're doing some good things, but we're really just okay right now. Then you can play well down the stretch. I mean, we did it against Villanova. We made 11 straight field goals. We were just kind of like, man, we can get blown out of here. Mm-hmm. We're down 10. We can get blown out. But then they started missing free throws.
Right.
They had a couple ill-advised shots, and then we make 11 straight field goals. But they let us kind of hang in there, and then we took control of the game. And that's something for us that we got to do a better job. It's more of a mentality of when you get there, like you want to hit that big splash, you want to hit that home run, and you want to knock them out. But more times than not, you don't knock people out. You just beat them each round, In baseball, you would say you would just keep hitting singles. Quit trying to hit a home run all the time. And we get in those positions and we try to hit home runs, and we just got to work on it. We just got to show more discipline. But when situations present themselves and you have advantageous scenarios, be aggressive. That's not what we're saying. Just don't have predetermined thoughts. And now it's like possessions don't matter. You hear coaches talk about all the time. You got to value possessions. It's important. And when you don't value possessions, that's when you're going to get yourself in trouble.
Let's take a phone call here. Again, the number is 1-888-246-2678. We have Matt from South Bend joining us. Matt, welcome to the show.
Coach, congratulations on tying Ward Piggy Lambert. And was going to say, the wife and I came down for the Northwestern game, had a wonderful time. Want to say that Caleb First looked like he was getting right up in it, too. So kudos to that.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. No, Caleb's done a great job for us. It's very difficult as a freshman coming in. He obviously played more minutes earlier in the year and got a lot of experience, but he's done a good job. Him knocking down that three, he scored that 7 straight points in that first half and really gave us a boost. But no, he's done a great job for us. Excited for his future.
He had missed those couple of games, or one game, I guess it was, all told, with the health and safety protocol. He appears to be getting back into a rhythm, don't you think?
Yes, he's done a good job. He's had some nagging injuries. He's had that also. But he's hung in there. He's kept a great attitude and kept playing hard. But now we're excited. You know, we're excited about him and what he's going to mean to our team.
Matt, thanks for stealing my thunder, by the way. I had it in my notes to congratulate the coach later in the broadcast, tying Ward Piggy Lambert, second most all-time wins as the Purdue head coach, trailing now only Gene Cady. Might take you a while to catch Coach Cady, don't you think?
Right, we're on the same side of the fence. It doesn't matter. We're on the same side of the fight. So getting compared to people that are at Purdue it's you know, we're together. So you can compare people, you can compare teams to other teams, but you know, I think when it gets to something like that, it's. I told Rob when he interviewed me after the game, and he said, "Well, you know, what do you think?" I said, "I think we've had a lot of good players at Purdue, and I'm yet to find a really good coach with bad players."
Yeah.
So it just doesn't work that way. So it's a players' game. I've always felt that, and you know, just getting the right people in the locker room and then getting everybody on the same page. I think that's your job as a coach. But for the most part, you know, it's a player's game, and so we're very fortunate to have all the great players we've had here, not just for my 17 years, but forever.
We'll visit more with Coach Painter in a moment on the other side of this break. It's brought to you by GEMCO. It's the Coach Painter Show. This is Boilermaker Basketball from Learfield.
Attention. He had it knocked free. Good job by Gillis to save the possession and find Sasha Stefanovic.
Hustle, though. A nice 2 games. You look at his last 2, he can really score it. They will play through him in their second unit.
Here he is trying to defend Edey, but Purdue just goes over the top, and Edey's too big. Hard thing for the defense is they have to prepare for all that as Stefanovic takes a deep 3 and hits his second already. Here he is. Well, that'll help. Bucket and a foul. Travion Williams. Roper will take a 3. And Williams with a strong 2-handed rebound.
Good defense by Sasha Stefanovic off the ball. He saw the post trap. Now they're running. Ethan Morton all open, hanging on rims.
Edey, good position. Right to the 2-hand jam. 2 of 11 from outside the arc. Stefanovic, he's already hit 3, make it 4. Against Wisconsin, season high 27 minutes for Roper. Gave him the start here tonight. In the corner, 3-pointer Isaiah Thompson.
You could be starting the break for the other team. Northwestern capitalizing.
You go back to the Bowie 3 at the end of the first half. It's a 15-5 run right now. But all of a sudden, Thompson is in rhythm.
And Travion Williams another turnover. Northwestern off to the races.
Ooh, dangerous pass by Berry. Gives it right back. The other direction, Thompson's already hit 2, missed there. Offensive rebound and a putback from Mason Gillis. Purdue back up double figures. Williams with 9. And now a steal. Eric Hunter slams it home. He hasn't put up many, hasn't made many. Here's Hunter. His step back from the top of the arc goes down, and Purdue has their largest lead.
They are in the danger zone here, certainly. That's an understatement, down 16. I mean, no reason to hold back at this point. Might as well put him in the game and see if he can make some.
GEMCO Constructors is supporting your Boilermakers as the presenting sponsor of the Matt Painter Radio Show, and they are a proud partner of Purdue Athletics. GEMCO Constructors says boiler up. Rob Blackman here with Purdue head coach Matt Painter. Don't forget our next broadcast will come your way Thursday night. It's a late one, fans. 9 o'clock in the Eastern Time Zone. Purdue in Iowa City to face the Iowa Hawkeyes. We will talk more about Iowa here in just a bit. But for the moment, let's go back to the phone lines. We have Lincoln from Indianapolis joining us. Lincoln, welcome. You're on with the coach.
Hey, Coach. Just a quick question. I stumbled upon Man in the Arena with Tom Brady on ESPN Plus, and it turned out to be a really good show talking about how they won their championships through the team and whatnot. And I was just wondering if you guys as a team read any books throughout the season or watched anything together that contributed to you guys' success each year.
We've done some things before in the summer where we've had stuff where we've read books and stuff. It's been a while. It's been a while, but no, we've done more things of bringing in NBA guys to talk to our players about what they look for, the makeup of an NBA player. There's a lot of things out that get talked about that are out there. We've brought in the Navy SEALs on 2 different occasions. That's always been a great 2 days with them just to kind of talk about trying to have the best team that you can have and trying to help each other. Like that's been really beneficial, to us. So I like that piece of it. We brought Kevin Eastman in. We brought Chris Herron in several times, drugs and alcohol, talking to them, former NBA player who's battled addiction, who's now, world renowned as a speaker, trying to help, kids. So things of some preventive measures from like drugs and alcohol. We've done things like on date rape. We've had police officers, you name it. So just, I know you're trying to get from like a book standpoint. I think the human element of bringing people in to be face to face with them and talk to them and tell their story. And to help out. Kevin Eastman was a guy that was a college coach, then he was an NBA coach, and very good clinician, very good motivating speaker. But he was great with our guys, and I think those are the type of things. Your players kind of look at you like a parent. Like, you look at your mom or dad and you're like, you don't know what the hell you're talking about, Mom. Like, you don't know. In reality, she does probably know, and she probably did the same stupid thing that you're getting ready to do, so she's trying to stop you. And so she doesn't want to admit that she did that and it was stupid. But, moms and dads, that's what they get. Well, after a while, like, you become Charlie Brown's teacher, as a coach. It's the same thing. Like, they just kind of tune you out and it's like whatever. And so they'll bring people in and talk and they'll be like, oh, man, that's great. Like, yeah, it's the same thing we've been trying to tell you. But that's okay. As long as we can get the message across and help you, that is the whole point. The thing that I don't like is, I don't want to enable them, even if they don't like me. So that's what I get to. Like, at the end of the day, like, they have enough friends. I'd love to be their friend. But it can't get in the place of doing what's right and holding them accountable. Like, and that's hard sometimes because being like, you don't even like doing it as a coach. Like, you don't like sitting there and just harping on them and being whatever. But the world doesn't care if you can make a jump hook. Like, just because you're a good basketball player, like, who really cares? Like, like, be a good person, be a good, and sometimes when you don't understand it because you're 14, 15 years old, everybody starts kissing your behind because you're a good basketball player. And then you go 7, 8, 9, 10 years that way, and then you play professional basketball, something happens, and at 28, you're done. Then all of a sudden, like, well, what's next? Well, the rest of us have been preparing for what's next. You should have been preparing too, but isn't that my job to help prepare them? So that's the way I look at it. And so at times I don't have always the greatest relationship with every guy I coach, but I could care less. I want them to do well. It's the same way with the parent. Like, they want their kid to do well. And so they're on them. But the coaches and the parents that are out there enabling them, you're not helping them. And so don't always try to be somebody's buddy and do those things. Well, it's kind of what we do. Like, we try to build that rapport with guys or whatever, but if you're going to cross a line and it's not going to help you going past, being on scholarship, and that was always the saying that used to say to us is like, you're not on scholarship for life. No one's on scholarship for life. You got to be able to treat people the right way and see the big picture.
Thank you for the phone call. We got a lot of good calls tonight, so let's keep it rolling here. Charles in LaGrange, you're next on the show. Charles, welcome. You're on with Coach Painter.
Hi, Coach. Congratulations on the win, and good luck Thursday.
Thank you.
I would like to learn more about your thought process in making coaching decisions, especially like talking about the Indiana game. Mm-hmm. So I noticed that you put Zach and Trey for a defensive possession late in the game, but you didn't put them together for the offensive possession when we are down 1. So I was just kind of want to know about your thought process. And also, in the first half, when they were making the run, I noticed that you weren't calling the timeout. You waited the timeout until the very end of the first half.
Yeah.
So just wanted to understand your thought process on that, too.
Yeah, the timeout in the first half, I should have gotten it one possession earlier. But I was right at that media timeout, so I was waiting for the media timeout. But I probably should have got it one possession earlier than that. The second half with those guys, we were, when I had the two big guys in there, just trying to make it difficult for them to be able to score at the rim when it wasn't, when they were stuck right there. Then not having them in at the end, it's just, I was going to go inside to them. And then I went to Jaden Ivey. And so I'd have went to Zach at that time. He'd been the most efficient. I'd have went to Zach if he was making his free throws. but he wasn't making his free throws, and so that's why I didn't have him in there at the end of the game. Travion got a good look. We're up 2, and he has a 3-footer at the rim, and so like I as a coach, like trying to get a quality shot. That's what it's in each possession. You want a quality shot. We got a quality shot. It didn't go down, but he'll make the next one. He'll make these. You think about at the end of the Rutgers game, he makes that play. You think about last year at the end of the Michigan State game, he makes that play. He's made a lot of plays for us down the stretch. I mean, a lot of plays. And so that one didn't go for him, but we still got a quality shot. And we were coming out of timeouts, and we were having a lot of success there. Where I made a mistake is, Jaden Ivey was gimpy there. And, like, he was kind of struggling with his injury during the game, and then he would, like, go by his man and jump 15 feet in the air and dunk on him. I'm like, well, it looks like he's okay to me. Like, right. And then all of a sudden, like, something else would happen, and then he'd start hobbling around, and then, like, he'd jump 15 feet in the air and do it again. You're like, well, it looks like he's good. And then so I'm just like, hey, man, can you get by your guy here? Like, can you get by him? And he said, yeah, I can get by him. And he didn't. But, like, I just said, if you can't get all the way there, we're going to have somebody directly behind you, and they're going to overdo this. Just play on 2 feet and throw the ball behind him. And he didn't. And that was my gauge, because I'm kind of trusting what he's saying, and I had to do a better job of trusting what I'm seeing. And but if I had to do it over again, I probably just would have went to Travion there at the end, just because of his injury. I didn't realize the extent of it at the time. But Zach was the one that was having the most success. He just wasn't. He was making positive plays, and we weren't getting rewarded from it because he was missing his free throws. But he was still doing it. And so even though I could have put him in that position again, if I had to do it over, I'd go back to him, because I think he caused the biggest issues, and Trace Jackson-Davis had 4 fouls. But that's the decision that I made.
It's the Matt Painter Show. It's presented by GEMCO. Back with more in a moment. This is Boilermaker Basketball from Learfield.
Congrats on a hard-fought win. What did you think about the way you guys played?
Yeah, I thought we showed more toughness on the defensive end today. Obviously, there were stretches where they went on some runs, but overall, I think our just effort was better. Obviously, we have our best player down with Jaden Ivey, and we had a lot of guys step up in some big moments. So it was a big win for us, and it's good for us moving forward.
Tough shooting night for you over at Bloomington and Thursday night. You go 1 of 7 tonight. What was your mindset coming back in? You end up making 6 threes.
Yeah, I just feel like I've been really inconsistent lately in my shot and just being aggressive and just my overall play. I think I just go through ups and downs in the season, and I don't know, it is what it is. Things, shots don't fall and everything, but I can control the other parts of my game that I felt like I was lacking in, and when that happens, shots kind of fall. So I thought that was kind of my mindset coming in today, and luckily I was able to, make some shots.
You tie Piggy Lambert now with 371 wins. How cool is that for you being a Purdue guy, and what's it mean to you?
It's just cool being the coach at Purdue. More than anything, I'm very happy to be here, and they've treated me great, and we've had good players. We're going to have a lot of wins because we've had a lot of good players, including you.
I appreciate that. Coach, congrats.
See you.
See you.
Welcome back, everyone. Time now for our Pro Boilers feature, where we look at how former Purdue student athletes are doing in their professional sports careers. Pro Boilers, presented by Indiana Kitchen Premium Pork Products. Get to know us at indianakitchen.com. Both our Pro Boilers and Indiana Kitchen are boiler made, and tonight we give a tip of the cap to our Boilermaker football players who are still in the hunt to make it to the Super Bowl. Marcus Bailey and Ricardo Allen with the Cincinnati Bengals, Bryson Hopkins with the LA Rams, and even though he's on injured reserve, just put on injured reserve this week, Raheem Mostert of the 49ers. Good luck to those guys, and you still get a Super Bowl ring even if you're on injured reserve. So good luck to all of those four Boilermakers in their quest to get to the Super Bowl with a victory this weekend. Let's go back to the phones. Steve joins us next. Steve, welcome. You're on with the coach.
Hey, good evening, gentlemen. Thank you for taking my call, and Coach, congratulations. I think you're doing a fantastic job there at Purdue.
Thank you.
My question for you, sir, is when you have a game like this Thursday night, 9 o'clock against Iowa, and then you got to turn right around and go Sunday at noon, what do you do with the practice schedule? Do you maintain the same regimen, or you got to switch things around? And also, do you go like I call full throttle, or do you just do a lot of walkthroughs and shoot arounds and that sort of thing?
Yeah, like we at Indiana, just from the last week, we after that game, like we watch film probably for a half an hour, probably walk through Evansville. We walk through Northwestern. I'm tired. Evansville's not in our league, in case you guys wondered about the Big Ten, 14 teams. And then when we probably practice for like 45 minutes. And so I just feel like you have to do something. And I was kind of talking about with the Pac-12, and I got away from my thought, and I started going. And those guys all talk about when you go those Thursday, Saturday, in between that Friday, you have to do something. Like, you have to physically do stuff. Like, if you just think doing walkthroughs and watching film or whatever, it's not good for them. And so, like, a lot of those guys just swear by that. So I've always just practiced, but then, like, practice kind of light. It just depends. Like, it's the physical over the mental, or the mental over the physical. Like, everybody talks about, like, load management and different things, and it's different for each guy. Like, you know, who has fast twitch muscles and who doesn't. And, like, the guys with fast twitch muscles, like Jay Nybee, they can just go. They can play 2 or 3 games a day. But the guys that don't have it, especially bigger guys, and if they have to play longer minutes, it's harder for those guys to rebound and play the next game. But you have to be in the right place mentally. So you can do everything that you want from a physical standpoint to get your guys ready. If they're not on edge and they're not sharp, it doesn't matter. So as long as you feel good about them being on edge there. So, you know, we'll play Thursday night, and then we'll come back and we'll do something light on Friday. We won't do much on Saturday either. We'll practice, but we won't practice very long at that time because we have such a game. So we've kind of looked at our day before on those noon games. The day before is more or less a shoot around. We'll do some live stuff for about 20 to 30 minutes to start, and then we'll go into kind of a shoot around format that we always do. But it's always a little dicey when you go with all these games right in a row, because you got to have a pulse on your team. So if you have your own team, don't have a set answer to that. Just you should be an expert at knowing your own team and having a pulse on that. It doesn't mean you make all the right decisions, but you should be a borderline expert when you're doing it, because that's your job. You're the one that's with them every day for, you know, the whole day, or 3 hours or 5 hours or 7 hours. Just depends on how much time you spend with them, whether you're on the road or not on the road.
More with Coach Painter in a moment. It's the Matt Painter Show. It's brought to you by Boilermaker Basketball from Learfield.
Filius once again looking for that suicide turn. He gets a 2 count. There's 3 and 4. 3 and 4. And that was it. Parker Filius gets the 16-0 tech fall here. Como with a throw by, drops down to an ankle. Now he's got it up, treetops it, and there's 2. Might need to just give up the takedown. DJ Shannon getting himself into a jackpot here. Ninehouse trying to drive over. And there's the 2, and there's a count. Shannon turns right into it. Ninehouse again with back. There's a 2 count. Looking for the fall. Ninehouse chest to chest. Nice ankle pick there by Panola. Next takedown will end it. There it is. 23-8.
Into the sudden victory, Purdue. Oklahoma's Jake Woodley. And there's Panola, well done. And that should do it. Another throw by for good measure for Panola. And with the right time, it'll be an 8-3 decision for the Boilermaker.
It's the Matt Painter Radio Show live tonight from Wolfies Grill, Wabash Landing. All right, Coach, I've saved the $64 million question for the end. I want to keep the listeners around to the end of the show. Jaden Ivey, health-wise, do you think you'll have him Thursday at Iowa?
I don't know. It's a good question. He did a little bit today. He didn't do anything live, but I don't know.
What about the Hawkeyes? It feels like we played them years ago. It was only December the 3rd, but they played without Keegan Murray.
Right.
Well, we're going to see a totally different team right Thursday, don't you think?
No question. No question. They've had, even though they won by 18 points, I think, in their last game, it was still one of those games that was still close, about 5 minutes to go. Then they had a really tough game, 48-46 at Rutgers, and we know how much they can score.
Yes.
But we also know how tough it is to play at Rutgers. And but no, they're a talented team. They can shoot the basketball. They can play in the post. Keegan Murray's one of the best scorers in the country, if not the best scorer in the country. Very versatile. Hard matchup, tough matchup. Skilled, can shoot, can drive, can post, can play in transition, can get it off the block, can get off the boards. Just a good all-around player. But he's not the only guy they have. His brother's a good player. The McCaffrey brothers are good players. They're all good players. They play hard. They're tough. And then the environment, like the rest of the Big Ten, is every place you go into seems like just a hornet's nest.
I just saw a thing posted earlier on social media that they had less than 3,000 tickets remaining for that game as of like 6 o'clock tonight. So you can probably assume that'll be, if not sold out, very close to a sellout game tomorrow night at Carver Hawkeye Arena. Final segment on the Coach Matt Painter Radio Show when we come back here to Wolfie's Grill. The Coach Painter Show brought to you as always by GEMCO. This is Boilermaker basketball from Learfield.
The defenses, they have to prepare for all that as Stefanovic takes a deep three. Hits his second already. Here he is. Well, that'll help. Bucket and a foul. Travion Williams. Roper will take a three. And Williams with a strong two-handed rebound.
Good defense by Sasha Stefanovic off the ball. He saw the post trap. Now they're running. Ethan Morton and been hanging on rims.
Edey, good position. Right to the two-hand jam. 2 of 11 from outside the arc. Stefanovic, he's already hit 3, make it 4. Against Wisconsin, season high 27 minutes for Roper. Gave him the start here tonight. In the corner, three-pointer Isaiah Thompson.
You can be starting the break for the other team. Northwestern capitalizing.
You go back to the Bowie 3 at the end of the first half. It's a 15-5 run right now. But all of a sudden, Thompson is in rhythm.
Now Travion Williams, another turnover. Northwestern off to the races.
Ooh, dangerous pass by Barry. Gives it right back. The other direction. Thompson's already hit 2. Missed there. Offensive rebound and a putback from Mason Gillis. Purdue back up double figures. Williams with 9. And now a steal. Eric Hunter slaps it home. He hasn't put up many, hasn't made many. Here's Hunter. His step back from the top of the arc goes down, and Purdue has their largest lead.
They are in the danger zone here, certainly. That's an understatement, down 16. No reason to hold back at this point. Might as well put him in the game and see if he can make something happen. But again, at the 5.
15-point deficit right now as we approach 8 minutes.
They should throw the ball inside every time. Post trap comes, get a layup the other side.
There you go. They double, and he finds Gillis. There's They're saying, whose house? Our house. That's what they chant when they've got the game secured here.
Welcome back, everyone. Final segment here of the Matt Painter Radio Show, presented by GEMCO, live tonight at Wolfies Grill, with the largest view of the game outside of Mackey Arena. Big thank you to Wolfies Grill for hosting us tonight, as they've done all season long, right here on the Wabash Landing in West Lafayette. Again, this reminder, I know we've had a lot of Tuesday shows with Coach this month here in January, fans, but we will switch back to Monday, our normal day for the Coach Painter Show, next Monday. So next Monday, 6 o'clock here at Wolfies Grill, and then Monday's the rest of the way out to take us through the end of the season. A little nugget for you here, and I was thinking about this today when I was, or I should say this weekend, as I was watching NFL playoff football. The last time that a Boilermaker maybe had played in the Super Bowl for some of the teams that are still left in the playoffs. We're down to the Final Four, obviously. And don't ask me why, but I got to thinking about the Rams, the Los Angeles Rams, who currently have Bryson Hopkins on their roster, right? He's their third-string tight end. He does play some. Bryson Hopkins, former Boilermaker. So don't ask me why, but I got to think about the Rams. When the last time the Rams would have played in the Super Bowl? Well, it was January of 2000. It was that great game that came right down to the final play of the game against the Tennessee Titans. Now, you might remember that was the St. Louis Rams. They were the St. Louis Rams at that point. They weren't the Los Angeles Rams, but they were the St. Louis Rams. And they did have a Boilermaker on their roster playing on the D-line. Actually had a tackle in that game for a loss. I'll give you 3 seconds to shout out in the crowd if you know. Jeff Scanina, well done. Corey Palm, our videographer, knew that one. Jeff Scanina, the former Boilermaker, did play for the St. Louis Rams in that Super Bowl and did make a play. Now, to bring this full circle, if you will, humor me for a second, playing on the other side in that game for the Tennessee Titans as a starting offensive lineman was Brad Hopkins, the father of Bryson Hopkins. So, me personally, I don't really have a dog in the hunt, but I will be rooting for the Rams for no other reason for that silly little story I just told you right there. So I'll root for the Rams to win the NFC and beat the 49ers on Sunday and play in the Super Bowl. A couple of quick reminders for you. We do have a game Thursday night right here on many of these same Purdue Radio Network stations. 9 p.m. for the tip, 8 o'clock for the broadcast. Purdue and Iowa City to face the Iowa Hawkeyes. And then Sunday, fans, for the noon game, noon tip-off against Ohio State. It's our annual Hammer Down Cancer game. Annual Hammer Down Cancer game. Our players are going to be using, or we will not be using, they'll be wearing special uniforms for that game only. That game only, that they will then auction off once the game is over. I would encourage you to be a part of the auction, because every single penny raised in purchasing those uniforms will go to the Larry Clisby Cancer Research Endowment Fund. Please think about that Sunday as you watch our Boilermakers wear their special Hammer Down Cancer uniforms. Big thank you to Maurice Jones and Wes Scott, our audio engineers for the night. For Coach Painter, I'm Rob Blackman. We'll talk to you Thursday. Have a great night, everyone.